9:06.
Brad, thanks so much. Did you receive that letter in the post saying that you've been selected to participate in a study of Victorian voters? You're being asked to complete a survey using a QR code so that, wouldn't take more than 10 minutes, the letter said, to help us, whoever us might be, understand your views on issues important to your community. Not authorised, no branding. Turns out it was from the Labor Victorian government, and an independent candidate has referred that to the Electoral Integrity and Regulation team of the Victorian Election Commission. Why? Because there was no authorisation. Because maybe it's a privacy breach. Was electoral roll data misused or not? Is this advertising? And if it is, should it have come in a different format? Love to know if you got it. I'm being told, no, I didn't click on that, didn't know who it was from. And I think that's a pretty prudent response. And someone I know did the same. But if you did it bother you? I'll play you some of the video that goes with it that you had to click through before you got to the questions in just a moment. And I'll take your calls as well. Particularly if you received the invitation. Made you sound very special, really, that you've been selected to participate in a study of Victorian voters. You had to use a QR code to go to the survey, and then you had to watch this. Here's an edited highlight, or highlights, plural, of, do I dare call it an ad?
Dan Andrews and Labor are doing what matters. They've removed level crossings, built schools and hospitals. Matthew Guy is the Liberals' cuts guy. His plans for cuts were rejected in a landslide at the last election.
Just some edited highlights there. It was all terribly positive for the Premier, not so much for the Leader of the Opposition, Matthew Guy. Did you get this? I've had a chat with someone who received it. They said it had no branding. It was completely unidentifiable. Invited to participate in a survey by clicking on the barcode, on the QR code. I thought it was a scam, she said, as did the rest of my family, and so they didn't go anywhere near it. Fair enough. But Sherelle Ainsley, it was brought to her attention, she's the independent candidate for Nepean who's complained about the survey to the Electoral Commission. Sherelle, good morning.
Good morning, Virginia.
First of all, tell me about your candidacy. You're an independent?
Yes, I'm an independent for Nepean. I know I have, a very small chance, but I believe that the time is now for independents to stand up and represent the community.
Okay, so how did this survey come to your attention? Did you receive it?
Well, actually, my dad received it, and he looked at it and he thought, I'm not doing this like most of the other people that are commenting have done.
Yep.
And he actually handed it to me because I'm running as an independent. And I thought, well, this is a learning curve for me, and so I decided to complete the survey.
And what did you learn when you completed the survey?
Well, things jumped out at me straight away. The privacy, the lack of privacy, which, with the Optus thing happening, obviously that's such a big, important factor nowadays. But also that when you went into the survey, you couldn't go back. So it was very sophisticatedly put together. And also that there was no authorisation. Like being an independent, I know I have to authorise everything. And so I thought, how can this biased survey, which was totally supporting or promoting the Labor Party, be out there and there be no authorisation on it?
Well, that's very true. I think you're totally fair in that description, because when you look at the video and you have to click through the video until you get to the survey questions, it is entirely praiseworthy of the Andrews government and very critical of Matthew Guy. So that fits the definition that you understand to describe advertising?
Yes, I definitely think, if I saw this on the TV, it would not surprise me to see it as an ad. So for me, it's an ad. It's just been put in a survey to hide or potentially circumvent the rules.
So you referred this to the Commission when?
So I referred it to the VEC last week. I went through and did quite a bit of research on my own to try to find out as much information before I did that, just to make sure that, it was the right thing to do and that I had all my ducks in a row before I actually gave it to the VEC.
And what did they say to you?
They've come back to me this week. I gave it to them last Wednesday, and obviously we've had public holidays in Melbourne. But they came back to me this week and they said that they've referred it to the electoral integrity area.
Okay, the Electoral Integrity and Regulation team. Now, we've contacted the VEC as well. This is their statement. The VEC does not discuss individual complaints, not even to confirm if they have been received It's rather like a grand jury. You're not even allowed to know that a grand jury's been convened. Let me read the rest of it.
Yeah.
Any complaint received is assessed for any allegations of offences against the Electoral Act. If there is a potential offence identified, the complaint will be referred to our electoral compliance team for follow-up. So which parts of the Act do you think offences have been committed against?
Look, I suspect there could be a number. Privacy breaches, although that may fall into a federal area, but there could be the electoral or misuse of the electoral roll, the breach of the authorisation rules, which are very clearly on the VEC website of what they are, amongst other things. You know, it just seems to be pure manipulation, in my opinion, to try to deceive voters.
What's interesting to me, Sherelle Ainsley, is that we know that this government is very sophisticated, very smart when it comes to the use of big data and when it comes to gathering the data it needs to really respond well and to try and win at elections. That's been well established. It would surprise me if they did this not knowing that they were standing just this side of the line that you're not supposed to cross. Wouldn't that be your surmise as well?
Absolutely. Like when I first saw it, I thought this can't be true. And I actually was trying to rack my brain to think who else could have accidentally done this and it not be the Labor Party. But when they've come back now and to my understanding, they've confirmed it was them, I'm just shocked. I think they're banking on that most people will either throw it out and those that will actually complete the survey won't know how to research it or won't put the pieces together like I have.
But the point I'm making here, though, I'm just wondering if you agree or disagree with it, Sherelle, is that this is a government that's smart enough to know how to walk that line and not cross the line. So there's a part of me that would be surprised if it was found to be in breach because they secure and use data in a way that probably hasn't been done by a Victorian government before.
Well, are they smarter? Like, I look at the red shirts, saga that's been going on, and in the media. So they seem to just push the line, push the boundaries all the time and hope not to get caught. So I think they might be gutsier, but whether they're smarter, I'm not sure.
Sherelle, all right. So you've got your candidacy well underway. When do you start properly campaigning? And how do you like your chances? I mean, Chris Brain, the Labor member there, I mean, it was a tight fight last time around, I think on a two-party preferred basis, but I don't know if you stand much of a chance against him.
Oh, look, I think probably Sam Groth, who's the Liberal candidate, is probably even more popular down here. So I've got a big fight ahead of me, but I've been out letter dropping and meeting, the locals and talking. My family's been down this area for a long time, so I know the area very, very well. And look, to be honest, I'm a single mum, and so I'm actually trying to fight for my son's future, and I'm hoping that the people of Nepean want someone who will fight for them.
Good to talk to you this morning, Sherelle. We'll wait with interest to see what the Electoral Commission has to say about your complaint. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sherelle Ainsley there, who's the independent candidate for Nepean, who complained to the Electoral Commission. This on text, she's doing a good job of promoting herself as a candidate in the next election on the ABC. Well, she's entitled to, and anyone else is as well, when we get into full electoral coverage. In the lead up to the election, anyone is welcome to call in and to have their 2 cents worth on your ABC. Up